The Object 279 was a Soviet experimental heavy tank developed during the Cold War era, representing one of the most unique and advanced designs in tank engineering history. Designed in the late 1950s by the Kirov plant in Leningrad under the guidance of the well-known Soviet engineer Lev Trojanov, it was intended to provide superior mobility, protection, and firepower against the increasing threat of NATO armor. This narrative delves into the technical, historical, and strategic context that shaped the Object 279 and examines why it ultimately never progressed beyond the prototype stage. Historical context. The development of the Object 279 began in response to the shifting paradigms of warfare in the 1950s. The post-World War II landscape saw the rapid development of nuclear weapons and more advanced anti-tank munitions, compelling nations to rethink traditional tank design philosophies. As NATO developed powerful anti-tank systems and pursued greater mechanization, the Soviet Union sought to maintain its edge by exploring radical new designs. The objective was to create a vehicle that could withstand not only conventional threats, but also survive and operate in the aftermath of a nuclear explosion. The introduction of the IS, Iosif Stalin series of heavy tanks during and after World War II provided the Soviet Union with a reliable and powerful armored force. However, these tanks, including the IS-3 and IS-7, had limitations in terms of mobility and were not fully capable of countering the evolving armor technologies being fielded by the United States and Western European powers. Thus, by the mid-1950s, Soviet engineers were tasked with creating a new generation of heavy tanks that would surpass all known standards of firepower, protection, and survivability. Development and design philosophy. The Object 279 was one of several prototypes developed as part of the Heavy Breakthrough Tank projects. It was conceived with an unconventional design to overcome various tactical and operational challenges. The development began around 1957, spearheaded by Lev Trojanov, with the prototype completed in 1959. The most striking feature of the Object 279 was its unique hull shape. The tank was designed with a flattened, elliptical, and disc-like hull structure. This shape, similar to a flying saucer, provided enhanced resistance against kinetic and chemical energy projectiles. The elliptical armor deflected incoming rounds at acute angles, making it difficult for shells to penetrate. Furthermore, the layout was aimed at resisting the overpressure from nuclear shockwaves. The design was supposed to help prevent the vehicle from being overturned or immobilized by the intense blast forces of a nearby nuclear detonation. To complement this innovative hull, the Object 279 featured a thick armor profile. The frontal armor reached an impressive thickness of 269 mm, hence its name, layered with both cast and welded steel plates. The turret, also rounded, was heavily protected with 305 mm of armor, making it nearly impervious to any anti-tank weapons of the era. This armor configuration meant that the tank could withstand virtually any contemporary anti-tank round. The Object 279 was also distinguished by its unique suspension system. It employed a 4-track layout instead of the conventional 2-track configuration seen in most tanks. This arrangement increased the surface area in contact with the ground, thus improving mobility on soft terrains like snow, mud, and marshes, typical of the Soviet Union's operational theaters. The 4-track design also distributed the tank's immense weight of 60 tons more evenly, providing better stability and reducing the ground pressure to that of lighter vehicles. Firepower. The Object 279 was armed with the powerful 130mm M65 smoothbore gun, capable of penetrating the heaviest NATO tanks at great distances. The main gun had a semi-automatic loading system, allowing for a relatively high rate of fire for a gun of this caliber. This gun was coupled with a stabilizer system, allowing the tank to fire accurately while on the move, a significant advantage in combat situations. For secondary armament, the tank was equipped with a coaxial 14.5mm KPVT heavy machine gun, capable of engaging both infantry and lightly armored vehicles. The advanced fire control system, combined with an optical rangefinder and night vision devices, provided a degree of situational awareness and targeting capability that was unprecedented for the period. Operational challenges and cancellation. Despite its innovative features and formidable design, the Object 279 faced several drawbacks that ultimately led to its cancellation. One of the primary issues was its enormous weight and complexity. At nearly 60 tons, it was significantly heavier than other Soviet tanks, making it difficult to transport, particularly by rail, which was essential for the large-scale deployment of armored units in the USSR. Another factor was the changing strategic doctrine of the Soviet Union in the late 1950s and early 1960s. The advent of the T-62 and the soon-to-be-introduced T-64, both of which were medium tanks, marked a shift toward faster and more mobile armored forces. These new tanks, while less protected, were better suited for the kind of rapid, maneuver-oriented warfare envisioned by the Soviet military planners. The Object 279, despite its defensive strengths, was seen as an anachronistic, super-heavy tank, more fitting for the defensive breakthrough tactics of the past. Furthermore, the Soviet leadership, led by Nikita Khrushchev, became increasingly skeptical of heavy tanks. Khrushchev, a proponent of missile technology, believed that the future of warfare lay in guided missiles rather than massive armored behemoths. This preference, coupled with the practicality concerns of manufacturing and maintaining such a complex vehicle, meant that the Object 279 was a poor fit for the future Soviet armored forces. Legacy and conclusion. The Object 279 never entered mass production, and only one prototype was built. However, it remains an iconic example of Soviet tank design ingenuity. Its radical shape, four-track suspension, and nuclear survivability considerations made it a unique answer to the specific challenges of its time. The Object 279 now resides as a museum piece, preserved at the Kubinka Tank Museum near Moscow, serving as a testament to the extremes of Cold War-era military engineering. Though it never saw combat and was sidelined in favor of more practical designs, the Object 279 influenced subsequent Soviet tank projects by pushing the envelope of what was technically possible. It is remembered today as one of the boldest and most unconventional tank designs ever conceived, embodying the intersection of technological ambition and the harsh realities of military pragmatism.